In today's episode, we're going to talk about a new competition coming up, as well as the assemblies that I've done, 2 new Square One World records, a lot of new puzzles, history of Pakman Method, I'm going to be giving away 3 Chi puzzles, and an interview with Channae from Convinsa Cubing. Hey everyone, I hope you had a wonderful couple of weeks. My name is Sean from SpeedCubeReview.com, and this is episode 4 of the SpeedCube Review podcast. So, a couple things that are new. I signed up for MCC Gamma 2017. It's in Ann Arbor, I believe June 25th. It's a Sunday, so whatever that weekend is. It's going to be a Sunday. There's only one day. And some of the main events that they're going to do that I'm going to be participating in is 3x3, of course. There's 2x2. There's 3x3 blindfolded. There's 5x5. There's also going to be FMC. There's only one solve at the very end of the competition. If you guys remember, if you watched my video from the last competition I did FMC, I missed the very first solve. I showed up a little late because I got the schedules confused. And so I didn't get an average that day, and I still won't get an average for this one, but at least I'll be able to do a single solve. Now, I'm hoping that I'm actually going to be awake enough for that final solve because I'm DJing the night before. The last competition I was at, I DJ'd the night before, and I couldn't even make it to the competition. I had to leave early because I was just so exhausted. Now, for that event, it was a 1 in the morning when I was DJing until, and so I didn't get to sleep till like 3 a.m. because I had to pack up all my gear. This one, I should be done by 11 o'clock, hopefully be at a hotel by midnight. That'll give me enough time to sleep just a little bit for this competition. I'm hoping it's not the same outcome as before. If it is, it's going to be the last time I think I ever do that. But the competition is going to be a lot of fun. The blindfold, of course, I'm hoping to get an average of getting all 3 solves completed. 5x5 is the only one I'm really worried about because there is a cutoff of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I haven't practiced 5x5 in half a year. Not since like November have I even done a 5x5 solve. And even then I didn't practice it that much. So I, up until that point, had never gotten a 2 minute and 30 second solve ever. I decided to really practice it. I've been doing a lot of solves. Now within less than a week, I have a minute 57 solve and an average that is around 220-ish, 218. So I should be able to get it if I keep this pace up. I'm just hoping that I don't get nervous or have a couple bad solves for those first 2, because if you've never been to a competition, there's often a cutoff where if you don't get a certain time within the first 2, you're not allowed to do the rest, and that's just to help with flow to make sure that someone's not taking 45 minutes to solve one puzzle. I'll make a video later on going over what my mains will be, what I'm probably going to use. Right now it's still kind of up in the air. Other than that, I think for 5x5, I just made a magnetic whooshway, and it works really well. So I'm assuming that's what that's going to be, but I'll make a video on that later on. So if you're going to MCC Gamma 2017, I hope to see you there. I don't plan on bringing anything really extra or anything to sell. If there's anything you're interested in, let me know, but I just don't want that sort of chaos on that day where I'm trying to, handle getting puzzles to people and solving, because I don't want that to be an issue, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to help out and scramble and judge instead of doing all those other things. So other than that, recently I did some assemblies. There was a video where I unboxed a couple things like that giant 3x3. I forgot the name of it, but it's like, I think it's a 40 centimeter 3x3. And I got that specifically for the assembly. It originally was just going to be 5th grade, like 1 or 2 classes, turned into 8 classes, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. What the assembly was mainly on was kind of just actually everything cube related. How the cube works, the just showing off different puzzles, and that I think was some of their favorite part. As you can hear right here when I showed the large 3x3. Instead of showing you how a cube works with this might be easier. So here's a giant Rubik's Cube. There was also just an explanation of what I do, how I kind of made this into a business. Kind of, it's not my main living, but you know what I mean. And then at the very end, I wanted to do something that involved everyone, so what I did was a big blind solve. If you don't know how blind solving works, long story short, you memorize about 20 letters or so, which turn into about 10 words because you combine them to make words. And then you recall those 10 words, which help you know how to move pieces around. what I did was I had the students memorize those 10 words, or I had a couple students at a time each memorize one word. And then I put a blindfold on, and each student or each group of students called out that word, and we kind of solved the puzzle together. It was a lot of fun. And then after that, it was just questions. Each assembly actually went for like 45 minutes. I was expecting it to be done after 5 minutes, but it went by really fast. It went by really fast. So I think this might become a more regular thing. I don't really know how to advertise myself with that. And some of the teachers even recommended that I start charging for this, and that they like the assembly that I did over ones that they've paid people to come in and do. On that note, I have no idea what someone would even charge for this kind of thing, because for me, it's just fun, and I've got free time, so I might as well go in and talk to these kids about this. So that's what that is. I mean, for me, it was just something to get into the schools and just introduce more people into the cube. It's already taken off. I mean, right now it's just kind of competing with fidget spinners, which that I can't even get behind that. I don't even know why that's fascinating, although I was a kid that played with Pogs, so I guess I can't really complain with that. But that's about it with new news for me, so let's talk about some new records. Now, there was only one really big world record that changed, and that was the square one, and that happened twice. So the last weekend in April, the square one world record was broken by, I'm hoping I pronounced these names correctly. I think this is going to be a common thing every week. I mispronounce something, but Helmer Urt from Sweden with a 6.67 second solve. But 1 week later at Buzzer Beater 2017, Nathan Dwyer broke that with a 5.88 second solve. And that now makes square one single under 6 seconds, which is just insane. Mats Valk got a new national record of 48.52 single for a 5x5 at the German Open 2017, and also a 54.71 European record average. And then Kevin Hayes at the new continental record of 1.36, or 1 minute 36 seconds, on 6x6 for a mean of 3. And the last one I'm kind of going to go over right now is that Jeff Park with a North American record at blindfold single of 19.57 seconds and an average of 25.89. So those are all the main records I'm going to go over right now. Like I've said before, there are a ton of other records, both continental and national, but really those are some of the big ones or the big names that at least I think are big names. I apologize to anyone that I just glanced over with that. So let's get into cubes. There's actually a lot of different cubes I want to talk about. The first one is the Aosu GTS. Moyu showed a picture of a 4x4 they're calling the Aosu GTS. Now, I can't tell that this looks that much different, and reading the comments was a little frustrating because there were so many people that were commenting about how this is the Wuxue killer, and then this is going to completely take things over. No one has tried this puzzle. No one knows. And on that same note, there's also the Bosu and the Aosu version 2 that have both been shown before. The Bosu was more recent, but the Aosu version 2 was shown, it's got to be over a year ago at this point. And those never came out. I don't know if they're still in the process or something happened, but there was no release date made. There's still no release date for the Aosu GTS. And I don't know, this might be the exact same thing. They've just changed the name as time goes on. Now, I have complete confidence that this is going to be a good puzzle because of how much time has been spent maybe redesigning it, making sure it's on at the top. But if any of you remember the Mayu, Kong's design was really the top, one of the top cubes you can get from the Yu Ying and the Mei Ying. And then the Mayu came out and it was very disappointing. It ended up having issues. They redid the mold, and it's still, I know some people have said they still use it, but I don't know anyone personally who does. So as far as the Aosu GTS, it might be good, it might not, no one knows. Moyu also released the magnetic GTS 2, so it looks like companies are just now going to be making magnetic puzzles. And this is really, I would say, the first one that is just on its own. When GAN came out with theirs, they worked with the Cubicle and sold it through there, which you can now get that all over the place. So Speedcube Shop has the GAN or Ultimate Magnetic, whatever you want to call it. I've also seen it on Light Take, I think, but not to get too sidetracked. Moryu, the GTS2, has magnets in it. I have not tried it yet. I'm hoping to be able to try it soon, but we will see what that's like. I'm really excited to see that companies are just now doing this right off the bat. There is a new Shengshou 4x4 Master Morphix. This is something that I didn't even notice until just a little bit ago. Shengshou doesn't really show its puzzles on Facebook or Instagram. I haven't seen anything on there, so I just saw this recently in a shop. And some people call this the Mega Morphix because Moryu had their 4x4 Master Morphix that they called a Mega Morphix. It looks like it's a little bit nicer than what their 3x3 one is. What I mean by that is the 3x3 is a very basic structure, and there's no curves on the corner. There's no Florian holes, I guess you could say. And the 4x4 one kind of does. I am curious to try this because I do really like that shape mod. There is also something this is interesting, the Ghost Hand Phoenix. Now, I have not seen a cube by Ghost Hand in a long time, and I would bet that a lot of people don't even know what that term Ghost Hand and have ever seen anything by Ghost Hand. This puzzle looks like a modern speed cube. I've only seen the outside, but it looks like something you would see from Moryu or Chi. Like, it has those squared off corners and really curved pieces. Yushin just showed a 57mm pillowed cube. I don't know why. Some people might like it, but pillowed cubes are not competition legal, and so I don't really know how many people are really wanting this. Maybe it's to compete with the V-cube market of pillowed cubes, but that is coming out. Yushin also showed a 2x2. It looks like a really basic structure. I don't think it's supposed to be a new top-of-the-line one or to try to compete with the Yushin white 2x2, but there is that one also coming out. There is also one other puzzle I unboxed. I don't think I put the unboxing video up, and I don't think I'm going to. It's the Shengshou Rainbow 2x2. It's Shengshou's first 2x2 that's stickerless, and it's not anything I would suggest anyone get. It's a really, really, really basic structure, and I don't really know what Shengshou's going for with that because, like, they came out with the Feng Yun, and it's incredible. It's a really great 3x3. I would think that they want to keep that going, but it's back to this really simple, basic structure. So I guess if you really want something like that, go for it. It doesn't have the same feeling as other Shengshou puzzles, too. It's not like that super smooth feeling that other ones used to have. But that is the new 2x2 from them. I have it. I haven't done a review. I might throw it into a mega comparison at the end of the year. But those are my thoughts on it. Now, before I go into the history of old Pakman Method, or just Pakman Method, I'm going to take a quick break and have a little word from my sponsor.
The SpeedQ Review podcast will always be 100% free. If you would like to contribute to the show, head over to speedcubereview.com/podcast. There's a PayPal donation button for a direct contribution, or if you ever shop on Amazon.com, please consider using the link provided on the podcast page, which can help the show greatly and will cost absolutely nothing extra from you.
So because of the blind solve record and the blind solve that I did during those assemblies, I want to talk about old Pakman Method. Well, some backstory with Stefan Pakman. He started cubing in the 80s, and like a lot of people who started in the 80s, they fell out of it because the craze kind of simmered down. But in the 2000s, he picked it back up because the internet age and there was forums and people started really communicating with it again. And he claimed actually multiple world records on things like Megaminx and Clock and Rubik's Magic. There was one thing, though, that he never got a world record for and that he's most known for, and that is 3x3 blind solving. The method that he came up with is referred to as Classic Pakman or Old Pakman. It was invented in 2004. If blind solving methods, if you don't know how it works, you don't solve it like normal CFOP because it would be insanely difficult to keep track of all of those pieces and where they're at. So what the idea is that you do one large move or like an algorithm that will move just a couple pieces and leave the rest of the cube untouched. And what he came up with is something where you just do T perm, J perm, Y perm, and an R permutation to take care of all of the different pieces. And this is still used today as one of the top methods to start blind solving with. It's called Old Pakman, though, because there is a newer method that he proposed with M2 R2. It was actually already being used back in 2005 for edges of a 4x4, but in January of 2006, he explained the method in a blind cube group online, and about a year and a half later, he made it more public on his own website. The method nowadays seems kind of straightforward, but back then, a lot of times people would orient and permute pieces in 2 separate steps. So doing that in one step was a big leap forward. And this is sort of the end of this story. This method is commonly used and considered a 2-cycle method because it swaps 2 pieces. Something like turbo, which would be considered a 3-cycle because it moves 3 pieces around. And really what turbo is, without getting too off track, is moving edges in, well, you can think of it like a U permutation, which actually would be one of the algorithms for that. You can actually still go to Stefan Pakman's website to read about his description of it, some walkthrough solves, and even learn about some juggling stuff on there. One last thing before I get to the interview, I will be giving away 3 of my own puzzles. They are actually unopened, and they are from Chi-Yi. So it's the Chi-Yi Pyraminx, Skewb, and Ivy Cube. The Pyraminx and Skewb are the budget Chi-Yi ones, so they have the ball-bearing clicking mechanism. It's not the bell that was designed by X-Man. What you need to do is answer a question on the website, so you can go to speedcubeview.com/podcast, and there'll be a question on there. The question is going to have to do with the interview that'll start in just a second, and then I will pick a winner and contact them through the email they provide. Now, off to the interview. Hey, so we're here with Channae from Convinsa Cubing. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi.
So, Channae, you have a YouTube channel called Convinsa Cubing, correct?
Yes. Well, that's my, what do you call that? That's my, that's what I advertise it as, but the channel itself is called Convinsa.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I like to call it Convinsa Cubing, but if you want to find me, it's just Convinsa.
I was actually kind of confused with that, because I'd always said Convinsa, but then I think when I recorded the first part of the podcast, I said Convinsa Cubing just automatically, and I was like, wait a second, what is it? And I know, it was like youtube.com/Convinsa, so I was like, that was more precise there. I've got to ask, though, what's that name come from? What does that mean?
Oh, well, alright, so when I was like a very little girl, it was just a name I thought of, because I thought that maybe I can convince people, so that's where it spawned from, but I don't know, it just grew on me. I just kept the name Convinsa since I was probably in 2nd or 3rd grade.
That works. It's not the 2 letters then cubing after it, so it definitely sets things apart.
Yeah.
But you've been doing, so, okay, I only started cubing just over 3 years ago. So I learned a lot and just got into cubing watching your channel. How long have you been cubing, or how long have you had a channel?
I've been cubing for about 7 years. I really started in 2010.
Okay.
Speed cubing and making videos. I guess I started closer to 2011 for videos, getting serious with videos.
Mm-hmm.
Currently it's 2017, so that math, you can just
that adds up.
Work that out. Yeah, you can work that out.
Why'd you start cubing? What got you into cubing?
I saw this kid in my history class, and he was doing it so fast. I was so impressed. I went up to him and I said, "Whoa, I noticed you did that so fast. How long was that?" And he said, "Oh, it was 1 minute and 45 seconds. And I was like, "Dude, you're amazing. You're the best dude in this whole world right now." And, he was so happy.
Yeah.
But then, eventually I realized that you can get faster. I thought you couldn't get faster than 1 minute 45. I thought that was insane.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when I got to, it was 1 minute 30 by the end of the summer when I started. I was like, wow, I don't care if I get any faster. That's amazing. This is great. And I didn't think I was going to get any faster than that because it seemed insane already.
Yeah, that's, I thought that same thing. I was thinking that there's no way you can get faster than 25 seconds. Because when I started getting faster and I was getting into cubing, I saw that you can get faster than 1 minute, 45 seconds, but 30 seconds seems really hard. And if you become 25, oh, you're amazing. So I was like, okay, I got to become 25 seconds. That's my goal. I will be that. And then I became like 25 seconds, and now I'm better than that now, but yeah. I thought 25 was like the limit.
I saw a video just the other day. It was some game show of like 3x3. I think they had someone who had the world record or some sort of record. I don't know. The records were weird back then. And it was they were all solving around 25 seconds, but it was like Rubik's brand cubes, and they're all twisting it with their wrists, and it looked painful. Like, it looked like they were going to get some crazy sports injury just from doing that. So hardware has definitely made a big difference there.
Yes. In fact, when I first started cubing, I don't know if you know about these cubes, but do you remember the Type F or the Type A?
See, when I started I'm trying to think when I started, the first speed cubes I got were the Shengshou Aurora and the Aurora and the Shuangren. I can't pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce them exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So those are my first two.
That was Type F. Shuangren was Type F1, 2, then they made a 3 and a 4. But yeah.
So I've never actually tried them. I've been trying to get an Alpha 5 just to see it, but I can't find one that people are willing to give away or sell.
I have one. Yeah. You know what? I don't want to give it away because
see? No, the
reason why I don't want to give the Alpha 5 away is because I have a Alpha memory. Okay, I'm probably not saying it right, but I have a memory, and that cube is very special because it's specially modded, and that's so hard to give away. It's
you kind of had to mod them back then, right? I mean, that's
and some people did what did they do? They mixed pieces together, hybrids. Some people did that. Okay. Back in the day, that like they'll put an Alpha piece in like a Type C piece. Like they'll mix cubes, like edges and corners together, and make a whole new cube, and that would be like your main. So, but nowadays you can't do that. Well, you can, but it's just like not what you do.
Yeah, well, all of these names, honestly, because up until maybe just a month ago, I read something that was a long time ago. I read something that was saying that the C is a specific shape of a piece, that there are multiple C's and multiple D's, and then now I feel like that's just the company was Alpha. So I'm really confused on how these actually worked and how they I hear these names and I don't know if they're the cube, the company. And I was talking to Cameron. He was episode 2, Cameron from Speed Cube Shop, and he was talking about that as well. So I think at least for today, I don't know if you'll be able to throw that together in like a minute to explain it, but like
I can try. I can try. Okay. I know it is kind of weird, but there was Type A, B, C, and D. And it was rumored that Type B was the same thing as Type D, and Type A was on their own, which is Alpha, and Type C was, we don't know what that is, and then you had Type F. I think I want to say they were all different companies, because that's what it was advertised as. So you had A, D, B, C, and F. Let's just say that. They were all different companies that made different cubes, and the best ones were Type A, which is Alpha, and Type F, which is Sheng'en. Okay. Yes. And those are old school cubes. I don't think a lot of people know about those anymore, but those are the days, the struggling days.
Yeah, I am nowhere closer to understanding that, actually. So
consider yourself lucky. Okay. You don't have to go through those ugly, frustrating days.
Yeah, now it's just the days of a cube being released every single week.
Now you gotta just try to decide, what cube do I want that's amazing? Because all of them are so awesome, right?
Yeah. So actually, kind of on that note of starting out, I'm kind of glancing at some of the questions from Instagram, and so TC Cubes, and actually I never know how to pronounce. So it's the Cube Girl, but when you type it TEH, am I still supposed to say the or t? I don't know what to, but the Cube Girl.
I think it's T. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Like, am I supposed to pronounce it how it's spelled? Or anyways, so TC Cubes asks something along the lines of that you, as I see you're a part of the first gen, I'm assuming, of YouTube Cubers, that first gen of that really out then got big. And will there be a point that you think I'm done or I'm tired of this? And sort of on the same question of the Cube Girl, what keeps you motivated to keep making videos? Actually, that's two separate questions. But, any point that you'll think that you'll say I'm done, or have you taken any breaks?
All right, I'll adjust that. I'll address that, sorry. I will consider myself second gen. And the reason why is when I started, there were other cubers that were before me. The old schoolers. But if you think of me as old school, that's kind of cool. But there were people before me like Throst and me myself and Pi and Monkey Dude 1313 and even Felix. Felix is before me. Like I started like way after him. Okay, so Felix is OG. Okay, think about that. Just wrap your head about that. But what was the question again? If I ever get tired of it? If I feel like I'm done?
Yeah, if you ever feel like there'll be a time that you say, I'm tired of this, or I'm done, like you're just gonna throw in the towel and quit completely.
You know what? Honestly, no. Because when I started cubing, well, of course I fell in love. Mm-hmm. And even when I got bored of cubing, I'm still in love. So I never really think I'm going to be done. I might not always go to competition and compete, but I'm always going to want to cube. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like that's just like, it's like embedded in my DNA or something, but I don't think I'll ever stop.
Yeah, it's
such an easy thing to always do. Like,
yeah. Like
you could just do it all the time. You come home from work, you could just solve a cube. You finish eating, you could just solve a cube. I don't think I'll ever stop that. That's just something really easy to just do for a few minutes and then,
and there's always new stuff to do. I mean, FMC was something that I love doing that now, and that seems so weird to me before. So if I ever get bored, I just do that. Have you ever done FMC?
No, but if you could after this, you should explain it to me because I'm very confused with FMC.
Okay.
I'm not self-blind. If you have any problems with that, I can help you with that. But FMC is something I have never really looked into. I'm
just slow at memorizing blind. I most of the time I'm getting successes now, but it's just slow memorizing. But FMC, so we'll go into it a little bit. Actually, I did a 10-part series in December going through it because I thought it was going to be one video and it got ridiculous. So it's finding the fewest moves, and you really want to just work on like block building, making blocks, and not just making a cross, because if you do CFOP, you're going to end up with like a 60 move solve unless you really get lucky or just start spamming different possibilities. But you can like inverse the scramble that you get to inverse the solve, the solution, and go back. And so you can find like inverse ones, then turn them back to regular, and then throw in commutators. It's a puzzle in itself, and it's kind of like if you like doing Sudokus and you like math or something like that, it's fun to just sit and do that. But we're getting way off track. As far as cubes go, so I know your color. If I know correctly, if I remember, you like to use white cubes and have pink instead of red. Is that correct?
Yes.
So someone on Instagram, the Blue Fox Was There is the name of the Instagram, asked the weirdest color scheme you've ever seen, and I'm going to kind of change that a little bit too. Of weirdest, like how did you land on that? Did you have a weirder color scheme before that?
All right. Let me just answer the question really quick from that
Blue
person.
Fox Was There, yeah.
Yes, the weirdest color scheme I've seen. Oh, dude, it was so weird. It was from a guy, a cuber named Wesley Grady. He had the weirdest color scheme. Like he switched green with I can't remember, but it was just weird. It wasn't Japanese color scheme. It wasn't anything most people have seen. It was just so weird. And I just can't remember, but I hope maybe if I ask him, then you can maybe edit that in, but I'm not too sure. I can't remember, but I can't remember. He switched green with something else, and it was just odd. Like, you never switch green with this color, and I just cannot remember. Like, green with red. Something weird.
Oh.
Like, switch green and red. It's just, don't do that. I can't remember, but, so I started doing pink because pink is my favorite color, and I guess I just didn't like red too much. For me, when I see red, it reminds me of, like, maybe something bad or, something that I don't like to see. So I thought pink was prettier, so I went with pink.
That works. That makes sense.
And it's my favorite color, so.
Yeah. I've tried doing, like, just different colors, and I'm so used to the scheme right now that I can do different shades of colors, but pink I got used to. But I like stickerless puzzles.
You've tried pink instead of red?
Not for stickers, but stickerless. So
for stickerless, yeah.
Yeah, like I had a pink Hualong, and I got really used to it, but I'd have to now. The more you stop doing that, so it's like YJ cubes or nothing else really. If I want, I'm sure there's other ones that use pink instead of red, but I would have to hunt and use only specific puzzles then.
Have you tried black instead of on a black cube? Have you on a black cube? Sorry. Have you tried black instead of yellow? Because I've done that, and I guess that's the weirdest thing I've personally tried was on a black cube. Mm-hmm. I've tried white opposite black.
I think
yeah, white opposite black.
I think I tried that once.
I've even tried that on a white cube too. It's just kind of.
I know weird. I could get used to it, but I'm starting to think. Okay, I'm trying to not even change stickers that much anymore, and just use what's on there, just so I can pull out any puzzle and be pretty comfortable with it, instead of having to get my sticker shades on it every single time. There are some things though that are a little weird that I definitely have to change because I'm not seeing the colors the same.
Yeah. Fun fact: I am used to pink or red. Mm-hmm. So if a cube has pink or red on it, I have no problems with it at all.
So just no black instead of yellow, or can you do that one too?
Oh, that would be a problem.
And no red instead of green.
That would be a problem. That would be a problem too. But when I look at a regular color, like a regular, what do you call it? Like if Moyu sent me a puzzle, right, and it had their regular shades on it, mm-hmm. I'll be just as fast as if I replace my custom shades on there.
Yeah, for me, it's when blues get too dark and if there's not great lighting, I just can't see things like the blue anymore. It just turns to black, and I can't tell what's what.
Oh, that happened to me on the Ridge Galaxy Megaminx. I couldn't tell the difference between, I think, cream and white. That really messed me up. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but I did. Cream and white really messed me up on the Galaxy.
I've seen you do a lot of Megaminx. Is that like one of your favorite things to do? Or do you have a favorite puzzle?
My favorite puzzle is really 4x4. Mm-hmm. I get obsessed with 4x4s, 6x6s, and Megaminxes. So if you see me with a lot of Megaminxes, yeah, I'm obsessed. And 4x4 and 6x6, I'm obsessed.
What is your favorite 4x4 right now?
Yushin with the Thunderclap Springs.
I'm on the fence with that. I like the smaller size, but I can't get it to the corner cuttings the same as the Wuxue, so I get sometimes some catches that. If
the Wuxue could be as small as the Yushin, mm-hmm. Yes, that might be my favorite.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen. I mean, like I've heard things, but you can't. With the way the cubes come out, like you'll hear rumors of puzzles and then you won't see anything, or you don't hear anything and something comes out, and so I've heard things, but I can't really say anything because it's people are just going to sit around waiting forever before it.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to a question from probably the greatest name I've ever seen. Loco the Puffy Ninja asks, I love that you combine your love of skateboarding and your love of cubing. Do you go as in-depth researching the components of your boards as you do your cubes? It's really cool to watch your successes in cubing and skateboarding keep posting. So yeah, how in-depth is your skateboarding research?
Well, actually, I've been skating longer than cubing, actually. So,
is it something like, do you do anything competitive? Is it just fun?
I go in depth with skating. Not as much as cubing, but in skating, I do go in depth. I try to pick out the right equipment and whatever. In cubing, I'm just a little bit more involved. Because I guess in cubing it's a little bit easier to know what you want, I guess, in a sense. In skating it's a little bit harder because there's so many things out there, like so many bearings and trucks. If you're not a skater, you might be like, what's that? And there's so many grip tapes and decks. But I do go in depth with skating for sure. But in cubing, it's a little bit easier to go deeper because cubing, you don't have that much option, so you can really like pinpoint what you need, what you want. For skateboarding, you have a much wider variety, so you really have to like. It's sometimes I just go with the easier option for skating. It's hard to explain, but to sum it up, I guess I'm deep into both. To sum it up altogether, I'm deep into both.
I've been thinking about, because, okay, as far as skateboarding, like, I never learned how to. In college, I decided to get a longboard because I didn't care to do tricks. I just wanted to learn how to do it and maybe just ride around. And so I got, like, an arbor board. I kind of, like, designed it where I was able to, like, click and add different things. Although I had no idea what exactly trucks and all that stuff. I just sort of clicked what they said was good. And I learned how to do
I know
it.
hoverboards.
Yeah, so I learned how to use it. Spent about a year and a half, and then I sold it because Michigan does not have really good places to just ride a longboard. I'm sure there's someone from Michigan right now yelling at their computer about that there's but I just couldn't find a good place for it. But when on that I'm gonna kind of pick your brain on your.
Skateboarding can hurt. Just put it that way.
You have some Instagram videos that look like it's a little painful.
Well, when you see my falls on Instagram, it's actually not painful. I never show the falls that hurt the most because I don't want to. I guess I don't want people to be cringed out. You know?
Yeah.
I show them the falls that I roll out of, and it's just like I'm fine. But no, I would never show them something that hurts a lot because then they'll just hear me screaming like, ah, and it's just like, it's embarrassing. So no, I'm okay. I never show that part. Like even when I injured my knee, I never show that part. No.
Could you see, like, I've thought about this. I've thought about making a company out of it, but see cubing turn into how skateboarding is, where with building your own board that a company would have, you know, the different shapes. Then you pick your springs, you pick your, like, I don't know,
pieces,
depth. Yeah, the depth of the centerpiece.
Washers. Oh my goodness.
Like, I feel like that's perfect of where this is going, because people can really personally design it, or if you're starting out, you just get the, like, basic one. And
you know, I think Gans wanted to do that. Gans wanted it to be just like that. I don't know if they didn't nail it, obviously, but they were heading for that direction where they wanted you to pick your springs. You know, you notice how they wanted to do that, but it just didn't work out in that sense.
Yep.
Because everybody wants something else besides Gans, most people at least. But
do you remember the weight system that they were going to do with the 356 when it came out?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
and
I was pumped about the weights, and then it came out, and there were no weights. And I was able to, like, I got some bolts, and I jerry-rigged some weights into it. But, yeah, like, they looked like they were trying to set up the make your own, build your own type of puzzle. Like, make the weight of it, make the springs.
That is that is pretty much what a skateboard is, where you make your own. Because you are picking your not springs, but you're picking your hardware and your trucks. And, skateboarders know all that junk. But if Cuban adopted that, that would be, that would be cool. But at the same time, it could confuse a lot of beginners.
Yeah.
I see someone wanting to get into Cuban and they have no idea.
It's already there. People are already confused.
Yes, they're already confused. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it would be a great idea or not.
Because I would love to go to, have a choice. Okay, do you want the 3 degrees of flexibility? You've got the GTS2 flexibility, the MF3RS, or the Tanglong. So you pick your flexibility, pick your springs. It's a good idea. We should do it. We'll start that. We'll start a business.
I would get confused on springs, to be honest, because I think I would always opt for shorter springs. Maybe. I think shorter springs make the cube faster.
Yeah, the less pressure slowing the cube down.
But I'm not sure if that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I slow mine down. I'm probably one of the few that use the orange springs in my GAN Air.
Are you talking about the yellow springs or the orange springs?
The orange, the ones that are tighter than the regular standard ones.
Dude.
Well, not in the magnetic, no, because that's already a little bit slower because of that. But I like that. So one of the questions from this is on Facebook. Looks like Nathan Josh Besaris. But anyways, he asks, what are your mains? So what cubes do you like then?
Oh boy, that's a. Whew.
It's a loaded question. You're gonna make some people either happy or upset.
No, it's just that's a crazy question because you switch mains so many times with all these new cubes. But I'll just give you a quick little rundown. 2x2, I have no idea. 3x3. 3x3 is the GTS V2 magnetized. That's very important. Magnetized in this baby is great.
Yes.
4x4, like I said before, the Yushin Blue Thunderclap Springs. 5x5 is the... what do you call that 5x5 again? So many
the Qi Wuxuang, the Yushin...
Yes.
Wuxuang?
Qi Wuxuang. You know me well. Yes. 6x6 is still the Yushin Red. I know. It's just I love it so much with those 5x5 springs, that Yushin 5x5 springs. I love it. I have a perfect setup, and when people feel it at competitions, they go nuts. 7x7 is the what's that Qi one called?
Wuji. Whoa, wait, Wuji.
Wuji.
WUJI, yeah.
Yes, that one. That is my main 7x7. And the reason why I'm so confused with these names is because, just think about it, I've been in Cuban for 1,000 years, so I'm dealing with 1,000,000 names. So I have to juggle these names. Okay.
Some of them because there's the Wuxuang and then there's the Wei Shuang, and then when it came to because there's the Feng Yun from that's a newer one from Shengshou, but there's a Long Yun from Kung Fu, and also around the same time there was the Guan Long from YJ, and then the Guan Ying from Fangxi. Yeah, I think there's another Guan something, or it was just it's horrible.
Guan Yu? No, I'm crazy. That's not true.
There is a Guan Su.
That's 4x4.
Yeah.
See what I mean? All these names, when you're Cuban for 1,000 years, all these names just merge. There's so much knowledge you can contain until they start merging.
I feel like it's easier though than Alpha D B. I don't like.
Oh no, I find the A B C D E F G H I J K alphabets better. That was better because it's easier for me to memorize them that way.
Well,
when you start
I like the way GAN does theirs, that because at first I liked it because you can tell, okay, 357 at the 3x3, 57 millimeters, 356 at the 3x3, 56 millimeters. But then they came out with their specialty one that was the GAN 473, and my first thought was, whoa, it's a 4x4. Wait, it's 73 millimeters? No, it's some specialty 3x3 that's the exact same air, but with different magnets instead of how Felix uses it. And oh my god, I'm so confused with it now.
It can be confusing.
It
is confusing.
Yeah.
It is confusing.
Let's see here. Carlos Edward Sebastian from Facebook asked if you have any other habits, and I think he means more hobbies. Any other hobbies?
Yes, I do. I have skateboarding as another hobby, and then I do play a little bit of video games.
Okay. Favorite? You have got a Switch. Favorite video game?
Yes. Oh, shoot. I have a Switch and a 3. I love handhelds. I guess my favorite video game would be the Pokemon franchise.
What did you start with Pokemon? What was your first one?
The original.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had all of them, but I started off with blue. Yes, it was blue.
Okay, I think I was red when I started. I was whatever my neighbor told me to get. Okay.
I played blue, red, yellow, and all those. All of them.
Then I'm going to branch off there. Favorite Pokemon?
Oh, Mew. I love Mew, and I will always be Mew. Always.
Favorite one that you could get in the original game?
Oh my goodness, that's hard. Why? No. Favorite one I can okay, you know what? When I was a kid and I first had the game, I was obsessed with getting a Jinx. I'm gonna go with Jinx. I'm just gonna go with Jinx. Yep, Jinx.
That works. Although there's a pre-evolution now called Smoochum, which took me by surprise.
Oh yeah.
I am a Gen 1er.
You just get Jinx and an egg and you get a Smoochum. It's pretty easy.
I don't know about these egg things. I did not do any egg stuff with when I played. Okay, so we have a question on Instagram from SXC Jerry. Was there a point when you felt like quitting cubing, but in the end you did not? If yes, what was the reason that made you continue besides having a YouTube channel?
Okay, good question. Besides having a YouTube channel, okay. One time I was tempted to quitting cubing because this is probably going to sound crazy, but someone that I love dearly didn't like me cubing for some reason. And I thought, you quit because someone that you love doesn't like it, so you quit. So I was really getting ready to quit. This was probably about like a year and a half ago, probably. I was getting ready to quit, and I packed everything away, all my cubes, my stack mat, my mats, just everything. I logged out of YouTube, not Facebook, but I logged out of everything else. And then I messaged, I'm sure you guys know about Cubologist. So I messaged him and I said, hey, I'm going to quit cubing. I guess nice knowing you. And then he said something crazy to me. Like, he just talked to me through it. And because of him, I decided that I should think about this. And then he was like, all right, good night. And I said, yeah, all right, good night. So I thought about what he said heavily, actually, because what he said was really deep. That, you shouldn't quit like something that you're passionate about. Not even for anybody, because you're really passionate. It's not hurting anybody. You're not doing anything wrong. And more things that he said, but I thought about it so deeply. The next morning I woke up and I thought, he's right. I shouldn't quit. So, thanks to Cubologist, actually, I didn't quit a year and a half ago. So, he's pretty amazing for helping me out. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I definitely agree there. So you're back. You are still cubing.
Yes.
And
yes.
a final question, I guess. Any advice for anyone out there who is just starting to cube, or I guess actually there's a question about even being on YouTube. Do you have any advice for anyone getting into cubing or getting into YouTube?
Get into cubing and YouTube. I want to cover cubing first.
Okay.
Get into cubing. Just do it for fun. If you love it, do it. And what I mean is, if you really like solving and getting faster and faster and learning algorithms and finding shortcuts and little secrets, do it. It's amazing and it's fun. Do it. Do it if you really love it, right? YouTube. Now, if you want to be a YouTuber, also do it because you love it. You know. For me, I think cubing and YouTube is separate. Yes, you can put them together, but I really do think they're separate. But you know, do it because you really like it. Do both because you really like it. Don't ever force yourself. Just remember that. Just if you enjoy it, do it. If you don't, do something else that you like. Just remember that. That's very important.
Yeah.
And that's really all. That's really all. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll be fun for the people listening too. So I want to thank Channae one more time for coming on. I really appreciate her making the time to do this. Definitely check out her channel at Convinsa Cubing, or just go to youtube.com/Convinsa, and that's spelled CONVINSA. Thank you very much. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please go and leave a review. I would greatly appreciate that. It definitely helps the show out. If you listen to this on YouTube, hit like and subscribe for more content like this. If you're on any other client, if there's a review tab there, please leave that. And as always, stop by speedcubeview.com for more news and reviews.